Tashdile, this is Sakina Bhatt and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature on this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. Tibetans in India to observe lockdown for 80 days. Central Tibetan Administration launches month-long Global Advocacy Campaign on Panchen Lama's 31st birthday. Milton Keynes raises Tibetan flag for the 7th time, reaffirms support. China's Global Times article false, incorrect and misleading, a rebuttal. CTA President congratulates Dr Michael van Walt on Royal Knighthood Honour. Sikyong Dr Lobsang Sangay has called for 80 days lockdown for Tibetan communities in India on Thursday this week. Sikyong called for Tibetans in India to continue to observe lockdown in schools, monasteries, old age homes and settlements across India even after the official lockdown in India is said to be lifted on May 3rd. He said the curve is rising each day, and as India comes out of the lockdown with its densely packed population, the risk of transmission will be greater than ever. Sikyong spoke about the facilities provided by CTA in this crisis, such as helplines for COVID-19 with the directory of contacts of settlement officers, hospital directors, doctors and nurses published online on CTA News Media, as well as the mental health helpline services. He also informed that Tibetans in abroad can procure Tibetan herbal medicines for immunity when postal services reopen. Briefing about the initiatives undertaken by the CTA, Home Colonel Sunam Topgel Kholatsang stated that the Home Department had created a WhatsApp group with the settlement officers of all 43 settlements to get daily updates from them and apprise the Kasha. The Task Force on Coronavirus and the Emergency Response Committee has been working on the same lines. He added quarantine facilities are made available in most settlements along with ambulance services in many settlements. All settlement officers have been directed to inform the public about designated hospitals for COVID-19 care in the region and to arrange transportation services. None are available using emergency allowances. Central Tibetan Administration launches month-long global advocacy on the 11th Panchen Lama's 31st birthday through its offices of Tibet. CTA aims to amplify the call for Genden Chukyi Nyingma's release and for China to disclose verifiable information on his current well-being and whereabouts.
To press on Chinese government for his immediate release, Tibetan administration has launched a campaign, a global campaign, demanding his immediate release. Unfortunately, because of the coronavirus pandemic, which originated in Wuhan, we are not able to do the physical lobbying, but we are doing the virtual lobbying all over the world. Mainly our offices of Tibet around the world, in partnership with Tibet support groups and Tibetan associations, will participate in month-long events all over the world from 25th April to May 17th, the day he disappeared or got kidnapped. We will have petitions submitted in various governments, particularly to the United Nations and specifically to the Commission on Child Disappearance in Geneva.
Hosted by Tashi Lumpu Monastery in Balakopi, South India, a live panel discussion on the case of the missing Panchen Lama and renewing global campaign for his release was held on Facebook. President Sangay participated in the panel discussion along with the abbot of Tashi Lumpu Monastery, Zekia Rinpoche, Sophie Ricardson, China Director, Human Rights Watch, Canadian MP Arif Virani, Dr. Tenzing Dorji, Commissioner, United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, and President of International Campaign for Tibet, Matthew Mikachi. Human rights defenders and supporters such as the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom and Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission continue to advocate for the release of the 11th Panchen Lama, Gendon Chukinima.
He should be freed because no government is justified in doing what the Chinese government has done to him. To kidnap and hold someone to control his entire life and the lives of his family members for decades with no end in sight. He should be freed because, as a confined person, he is likely at higher risk from the coronavirus that is claiming the lives of people of all ages. He should be freed because he has the right under international law to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, including the right to practice his religion as he chooses.
Similarly, 32 members of the European Parliament wrote a joint letter to the Foreign Affairs Chief of the European Commission, Mr. Joseph Borrell, arguing the European Commission to call upon China for the release of Gendon Chukinima without any conditions. Belgian Foreign Minister Mr. Philip Goffin also shared concern over the human rights situation in Tibet and on the enforced disappearance of Gendon Chukinima for 25 years. Mayor Sam Crooks of Milton Keynes in England reaffirmed support for Tibet and issued a statement on April 20th via YouTube on the occasion of the Tibetan Flag Rising Day.
Hello, I'm Sam Crooks, the Mayor of Milton Keynes, and I wanted to say just how sorry I am this year that we won't be able to raise the Tibetan flag as we have in Milton Keynes for a number of years, and it's a ceremony that many of my predecessors as Mayor have attended. There are three reasons, I think, why the festival is so important. The first one is that we are showing solidarity with the people of Tibet, and that's important to us in Milton Keynes. The second reason is that we are aware of the importance of maintaining history and identity within nations. We can't allow land just to be taken by invasion and facts on the ground used to justify what has happened. And thirdly, we believe in the principle of self-determination. That's why I think we should be raising the flag, and that's what I hope we will be able to do once again in future years.
This year's Tibetan Flag Rising event would have marked the 7th annual event since 2014. China's Global Times had published an article titled "Exile Tibetans' Eye to China for Fear of Virus" by Shanji and Hu Yuwei on Monday this week. The article has shown the situation of Tibetans living in India, especially those in Dharamshala, in a very poor light. It said because of the COVID-19 pandemic and poor medical facilities in India, Tibetans are longing to return to Tibet. The Central Tibetan Administration clarified and stated that the contents of the above article by the two reporters and the statement by Liu Yonghua are false and incorrect and misleading.
Important thing is that here in Dharamsala, till now, the coronavirus cases are only about, not only in Dharamsala, but whole Himachal Pradesh itself. There is only 40 cases with one death. And Dharamsala constitutes only a small part of it. And they have said that in Dharamsala there is no hospitals, proper hospital medical facilities. For their information, in just near the Tibetan Central Secretariats, we have this Delek Hospital and Tibetan medical centers here. And even in Kangra district also, we have a zonal hospital, civil hospital, and Thanda hospitals, and forties. So allegations that there is no good medical facility in Dharamsala is wrong. We have got the full cooperations from the DC office, SDM office, and SP office. They are very happy that the Tibetans have cooperated very well, and we have been following the guidelines to the lockdown and everything. And they have appreciated our contributions also. And not only the CTA, but many local Tibetan associations and Tibetan groups, monasteries, they have contributed to the local governments and in helping the poor Indian people also. So the saying that Tibetans are not well looked after and the Tibetans are having a very difficult time in India is not true. And then this Mr. Liu, he has said that he has studied medicine in Tibetan medicine in India. So we have contacted our Tibetan Medical Center here, and they have said that there is no record in their register that someone called Liu Yingho attended the Tibetan Medical Center. So this is false. Another thing is that they have devoted one full page on with an interview on some lady called Yangzom in Nepal, saying that she wants to go back to Tibet because of the fear of coronavirus. But we have contacted our office in Nepal and tried to find out who is this Yangzom. But they say that there is no one called Yangzom. So even if there is a Yangzom, she is one lady, and based on her statements, China cannot generalize the situation in India and Nepal. And one important thing that I would like to share is that coronavirus pandemic, it originated from China, and it has created a havoc and suffering throughout the world, even in India also. So instead of taking this opportunity to send a wrong message or create a rift in a Tibetan society or among the Indian community, China should take responsibility of the suffering that it has created to the world and then cooperate with the world community to try to alleviate the situation and come out with the solutions so that the world will be relieved from the coronavirus pandemic that it has created.
CTA President Dr. Lobsang Sangay congratulated Dr. Michael van Walt on Royal Knighthood Honour. Dr. Sangay welcomed the good news and extended his heartfelt wishes to Michael van Walt on behalf of the Central Tibetan Administration. On behalf of the Central Tibetan Administration, I heartily congratulate Michael van Walt on his decoration of Commander in the Order of Orange Nassau. The honor speaks volumes of Michael's lifelong achievements in the promotion of sustainable peace and dialogue around the world. I have known him for 3 decades. Michael's been a truly great friend of Tibet and has had the longest association with the CTA and Tibetan people. Dr. Michael van Walt, legal advisor, scholar and a long-time supporter of Tibet and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, has been awarded knighthood by the Dutch government in recognition of his lifelong dedication and commendable achievements in support of the unrepresented and oppressed nations and peoples of the world. So much for today. See you next time and have a great weekend.